Texas Tech's opening game against Wyoming is just around the corner. So for more on this, we're going to bring in head coach Joey McGuire. Coach, how's it going?
It's going great. Thank y'all for having me.
Oh, we appreciate you taking the time. I know there's probably a lot of excitement down there in Lubbock. This is year 2 for you with Texas Tech, and you went 8-5 in your first year. Not bad, Coach. But from your standpoint, what's the biggest difference in preparation for your first year now that you got things under your wing here going into year 2?
You know, the expectation's really high. You know, we have so many guys. We have 18 starters back from the bowl victory against Ole Miss, and so they expect a lot from each other. And then, you know, I think we're a bigger, faster, stronger team. We have great leadership, and so it's going to be a lot of fun. We can't wait. I mean, you know, we were talking earlier. Our guys are ready to get out of camp. We're ready to hit somebody else and, you know, see exactly where we're at.
Now, you guys won your final 4 games a year ago, including wins over Oklahoma. You mentioned the bowl victory over Ole Miss. Tyler Shough was really good down the stretch for you guys. What kind of experience does he bring back that he imparts on the team?
Just a really, you know, a hungry kid, man. He has had, you know, when you're talking about like collarbones, I mean, that's just kind of a freaky accident. He's had, you know, 2 tough years a season. You know, to where he does it, where he's playing really, really well. And so he's really hungry. He's a pro. I mean, the guy's in the building as much or more than any player I've ever been around. And he, you know, it's the tough thing. We've got 2 great quarterbacks, and the teams love both of them. And so it's always been, I felt like the team would tell me who the starting quarterback was, but and both quarterbacks, you know, have the team, you know, and have the locker room. And Tyler really did. He earned the starting spot, not only by the way he finished, but the way he conducted himself during spring football and the start of camp.
Well, Coach, listen, you have a lot of returning starters on this offense, including 5 wide receivers who all had 30 or more receptions just a season ago. What makes this group so dynamic?
You got a mixture. I mean, we've got big outside receivers, Bradley, Sparkman, Loic, Fungi. They're all 6'4", 6'5". They can really run, good ball skills. And then you've got the slots like Miles Price, you know, that can, man, he can just flat out run. You know, and he's one of our leaders. Xavier White, Nehemiah Martinez. So they're your typical, you know, smaller slot, really fast guys. And they all bring a lot to the table. I'm really excited to see the 2 older guys, though, Bradley and Price, because they've changed their body. They've gotten faster, and man, they are really carrying a lot of the leadership in that room, and it's exciting. We've got a new wide receivers coach that brings a ton to the table. He's played in this offense, was a great player. And Justin Johnson, and so you can see the difference of what he's doing in that room and the detail that they're playing with.
Now, Coach, you spent your career in Texas. You started off as a high school coach, and then you were at Baylor before going to Texas Tech. What type of an asset is it for you to have that intimate knowledge of the state when it comes to in-state recruiting?
Well, it's huge. You know, I was a high school coach for 23 years. I always tell everybody, you know, I'm a high school coach that gets to coach college football. That's my DNA. And the one thing we try to do at Crowley and Cedar Hill, we opened our doors to everybody with what we were doing. I was lucky enough to be on the board of directors for the THSCA. And so I think the coaches understand I have such a great pride in this state and great pride in Texas high school football. I think there's a trust factor. I have a number of Texas high school coaches on my staff, and it's helped us in recruiting. You know, it's not only the parents that get to know us, but the coaches are able to tell the parents, hey, listen, if Coach McGuire says this is what he's going to do for your son, he's going to do everything he can to make sure that happens. And so it's definitely helped us in recruiting.
Well, Coach, we know obviously college football is big in Texas, but high school football is just the mecca. They do it unlike any other here. So you visited a lot of facilities. Which one has impressed you the most as far as high school facilities go in Texas?
Well, I got beat in, I think it was 13 at Allen, Kyler Murray, one of my favorite dudes that I've ever coached against. That facility is absolutely incredible. The new Prosper Stadium's really nice. McKinney ISD is really nice. But I'm from Crowley, and I got to watch a playoff game. And the new Crowley ISD Stadium is one of the nicest stadiums I've ever seen. It's a great setup, huge jumbotron, and the way they built it, it's like almost straight up. So it's a great environment. And so that's a really cool place to play and watch a game.
Coach, everybody's been talking about college realignment here, in the Big 12 Conference is at a crossroads with the additions of UCF, Houston, BYU, and Cincinnati this year, more on the horizon. So from on the inside looking outward here, what's the vibes like in the Big 12?
Fired up. Yeah, I mean, just excited. We've got 4 really good football teams. If you think about it, BYU probably carries one of the most important logos as an independent. I mean, you can argue that maybe they're number 2 behind Notre Dame when they're independent. They're not scared to play anybody. And so that they come into the Big 12. I mean, you have all 3 of the Cincinnati, Houston, and Central Florida at one point in the last, probably 2 to 5 years, they played for their conference championship. Cincinnati was in the Final Four, just 2 years ago. And so you've got some really, really good football teams coming in. You've got 4 more coming in 2024. This is a really tough conference from top to bottom. There's no layups. There's no easy outs. And so I think it's, a really tough conference when you're talking about football. But in every sport, golly, I mean, men's basketball, the Big 12, you'd already have a hard time finding a better conference. And now you add these teams in it in 23 and 24, and it is the best conference in college basketball. And so I'm excited, man. I think it's great for college football, and I definitely think it's great for the Big 12.
All right, Coach, I want to change gears here a little bit. You celebrated a birthday a couple of weeks ago, but for your 50th birthday a couple of years ago, your wife got you a Corvette. So would you consider yourself a car guy?
Well, it's kind of crazy. I talk about this in recruiting. I'm a Corvette guy, and it's more, I think at some point when you're growing up, you kind of dream if I could do this, whether it's for yourself or for your mom or for your family, whatever it is, there's always that thing. And that's always been mine. I always felt like, man, if I could have a Corvette by 50, it's almost like I don't know, my young self was like, maybe I made it. I don't think you ever make it, but that was kind of in my mind, and my wife has heard me say it, and trust me, I was so surprised because that's very unlike her. She's an accountant by trade. Money is she does everything with money, and so to make that kind of purchase, I was shocked. And so it was really cool. And I talk to the recruits all the time about it. I kind of tell them my story and how I grew up, and I think a lot of those guys can think through that and understand what that kind of Corvette means to me.
No, that's really cool. And I know, when you get your dream car, you can become very territorial over it. So do you let anybody, do you let your wife drive it, take it out for a spin, or is it just you behind the wheel? No,
I did let one of my recruiting staff guys drive it to pick up a recruit. That's the only time, that anybody's going to get to drive that, at the end. Debbie's driven it a couple times, but I think she's like, Joey, this car goes a little bit too fast for me. So, because it wants to go fast. That Corvette, it drives better the faster you go.
That's what I hear. It said, 196
oh
miles
gosh,
an hour top speed. And I know you're not getting it up that fast, Coach, but you got to take it out for a spin every once in a while. That is the head football coach at Texas Tech, Joey McGuire. We really appreciate your time here today, and best of luck this upcoming season.
All righty. Thank y'all so much. Wreck 'em.